Hello everyone, how you guys doing? It's Trader Prosper, and I want to do a trade breakdown on the trades I took this week on Nas100. So I took two trades, and the two trades was a missed entry. Like markets really did me dirty this week, but it's all good. I don't need to panic. So let's dive into it. So I will go to a new chart so that we can start the whole process afresh. That's 100. Okay, let's use FMC, FMSS. Okay, so um, I don't know if you guys will want me to do a a breakdown on my entry model. You guys should leave a comment on the comment section below so that I will do a video for you guys on how I do my entries. So now, what I do is I go to my daily time frame, probably like weekly, okay, to see what's going on the weekly time frame and to see where the market is going to headed to overall. So you can see that it's very clear that the market is in an uptrend. Okay, um this is a break, this is a break, okay, this is a break, like, and that's the most recent break. So market is obviously in an uptrend. So um what I do is when I see a recent break, okay, when I see a recent break like this, I just mark out my range, which is from the low of this guy to the high, okay, because market is always going up and down. Okay, this is an uptrend. Okay, so market is always going up and down, like um the continuation and the correction and continuation. Okay, so that's what market does. Okay, so this is a pretty basic stuff. So I mark out my high and my low. So this is on a weekly time frame. So before the market will retrace back, so this is going to take a lot of time. So we don't know when this is going to happen, but this is what you have in mind. Okay, so now you move to the daily time frame to see what the market is doing. So you know that market is an uptrend, and it has taken out the most recent high on the weekly. So we are expecting a reversal, which is already happening. Okay, so which is already happening. So as you can see, this is a high, high. Okay, and this is the most recent one. Okay, yeah, I think this is the most recent one, obviously. So now I've seen that the market is also in an uptrend on the daily. So from that recent high, we know that market is we are expecting market to um we are this is our range, our training range, sorry, from this low to this high. Okay, that's our range. Okay, from that low to the high. So we take that out, we move to the daily, sorry, to the 4 hour. Okay, we scale down to the 4 hour. Okay, to see what market is also doing on the 4 hour time frame. Remember, this is our daily low that we are expecting markets to tap in and then give us that continuation to the upside. But then these are the most recent break of structure on the daily time frame. So this is what you are working with. And on the 4 hour, we can see that market is still bullish. Okay, market is still bullish. You can see the break, that break. You can see another break. Okay, okay. You can see another break. That was a break as for when it happened. You can see another break. So market is clearly on 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 an uptrend. Okay, so now these are the breaks we are looking at, and like this was on Monday, because this trade this was this week now. Yes, on Monday. Yeah, so this is why we are starting from here, we are stopping here, sorry. So now these are the things I was considering. Okay, since market is still in an uptrend, and all these things are our ranges. So this is our first range when market broke that high to that high. Okay, now we are looking at where market is going to be buying from. Okay, So what are we seeing here? We have a breaker block, there that market is likely going to buy from. Okay, this guy is serving as our liquidity for the breaker block. Okay, that guy was serving as liquidity for our breaker block. So this was the only obvious place that we know that market is going to buy from, and it has a liquidity. Okay, so that validates this breaker block. Now remember, this was Friday, so market tap into this breaker block on Friday. Okay, tapped into this breaker block on Friday, and Monday, yeah, Monday open. Now we So this was Monday open, which was this week. So when I have spotted all this stuff, let me clean this guy. So this guy is no more necessary for us at the moment. So this is what is happening on the in the market as of now. So we are seeing that market is buying off this breaker block. Okay, so what did we do? We scale down to the 1 hour time frame to see things clearly. Okay, as you can see, everything is not that obvious yet. Okay, as you can see, market has tapped into this breaker block, and what you are looking out for is very simple: continuations. Where market, market does something like this, high, retraces back and continues, breaks this, breaks structure, retraces back and continue. Okay, so what we are focused on is not this retracement. This retracement is just, for me, it's just a low probability setup. Like any setup, any sell setup, it's not that it's not valid, it's valid, but it's a low probability setup because markets can just retrace here and continue buying. As you can see from here, market just retraced to this point. Sorry, not there. Sorry. As you can see from here, market retraced to this point and continued buying. Okay, so if you are to catch a sell within here, if you are seeing a sell here, any sell setup you have here is likely going to take you out. Okay, it's likely going to take you out. That's why I consider it a low priority setup. Sorry. So I prefer the continuations whereby I follow what the market is doing. So whereby I follow the continuation, and then we we ride it all the way up. Okay, follow the continuation and ride it all the way up. So that's it. So let me delete this guy. So since market is done with the pullback and is respecting this zone, you can see the rejections. You can see the rejections. You can see the rejections here. So there is nothing clear on the 1 hour. So I move to the 15 minutes. Okay, to see if market is actually uh planning on reversing, and it was obvious that markets have started creating higher highs and higher lows. So market started breaking structure from here. Okay, gave us another break, and this is when we confirm that you're already bullish. Okay, even here you can consider a break. But I did not consider that as a break. But these all the things you are seeing, that market has already turned bullish. Okay, so again, we now want to look for entry. So I will do a video on my entry model, and I will show you guys a lot about my entry model and how I go about it. So this is a liquidity. Okay, first of all, what are we looking at for here? We saw a sweep here. Okay, there was a sweep here. We saw a sweep here. Okay, that was a sweep there, but this guy being our liquidity was very far from this sweep, because if you are to consider this sweep, that means our other block is going to be this guy. Our other block is going to be this guy, Quasimodo, um reversal. That's our QMR will be here. Okay, but then this liquidity is very far from this our entry point. So which other um which other which other level are you seeing that is very close to our liquidity? It is very simple. Breaker block here this breaker block here is the only guy that is very close to our liquidity point. So we take that breaker block, and this place is no more valid for us. So the only thing, you have two options here, is to take this trade from here and cover this low. Okay, or still maintain that breaker block. Okay, so to be on the safer side, you cover this low. Okay, cover this low like this. Don't look at the risk to reward. Okay, you cover that low like that to be on a safer side. So you just target this side because this is the high market is coming for. So what I just did was increase my risk to reward to 3 hour, 3 hour around there. So I covered somewhere here. Okay, and risk and went for 3 hour. This was how I took it. So market just came, swept the liquidity. Yeah, I guess swept the liquidity and moved on. So this was my first trade on Nas100. Okay, now that day went by and market didn't tap me in. So what I did was I still went back to my 4 hour time frame on Wednesday. Okay, I waited for my setup. There was nothing valid around all these places. So market again broke. Sorry. Okay, so market again broke structure. Okay, broke structure. So what are we looking at? Since we are in an uptrend, we mark out our range, our trendy range. Okay, from that high to that low. From this low to this high. Okay, so market just did all these stuff, and so this our last, our 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 main high, because this is when market started retracing back. Okay, it broke here. That means we have gotten our retracement. Okay, so that's that, and this is our low and this is our high. Okay, now what do I do? We wait for the pullback to be over, and then join the trend. Okay, remember we follow the continuation and not the reversals. So um if you want me to do a video on when a pullback is over and all those stuffs, and to know when market is reversing, and when a pullback is over, like when the reversal is over, and when you anticipate a continuation, I will drop a video about that. Just comment drop on the comment section and I will do a video about that as well. So now market has market has pulled back. Okay, so when what we do is we come to 1 hour time frame to see if we can see that continuation, like that uptrend continuation, whereby market starts breaking um the highs and start protecting the lows. Okay, so we come to the 1 hour. What we are seeing here was not very clear, so we went to the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, 15 minutes time frame, and what can you see on the 15 minutes time frame? Our entry model has already printed. This was a sweep. Okay, and we had liquidity here, and we had liquidity, like you can consider all of this liquidity, all of these guys liquidity. Okay, we had liquidity here, so there was liquidity to validate this down zone. So we took this week as our breakup, as our order block, and we waited for market to tap us in and continue. But lo and behold, market just market just did the stuff. I think it also swept that liquidity. Yeah, it just swept it with few pips. As you can see, market just swept liquidity and continued going to the upside without tapping us in. And that was it. So that was Wednesday. So market also broke another. So this guy is no more needed. We go back to our 4 hour. Remember, this is an uptrend. This is what we are going to be doing until market stops buying and starts doing whatever it wants to start doing again. So this was another break. Okay, this was another break, and what do? We mark out our range from this low to this high, since we are in an uptrend, and wait for that continuation to start, and then we start buying. Okay, and then we start buying. So as you can see on the 15 minutes time frame, there was nothing tradable for us here. There was no setup. Okay, there was no value setup here. So both when market continued, there was no value setup. So you waited to see if market will give us something below this discounted zone. Okay, if you also want me to do a video about this premium and discount and how I use it, I still drop a video about it. So just comment on this comment section and I will also do a video about that. So market came here and didn't give us any buy opportunity. And as we all know, on Friday the mighty news dropped did this crash on the market, and market just sold off. And that was that for my week. Okay, so market, if you go back to the 4 hour, if you check your most recent low that has liquidity, you see that market has broken this low. So all these lows have been taken out. So we are likely reversing on the weekly. Okay, we are likely reversing on the weekly or even on the daily. Sorry, if you go to the daily, you see that market has already come to our daily range from this low to this high. So what we'll be looking out for is a switch in market direction to continue the uptrend. Okay, so if we don't get it, then we know that we are reversing on the weekly. And on the weekly time frame, is going to be crazy. It's either we come to this low and start buying again, or we might even hold from any of these ranges here. You can hold from there and continue buying. But it is what it is. We don't know what is going to happen until it happens. So we just follow our rules and trade our stuff. So see you guys next week. Okay, have a nice day. Bye bye.